Story 1. Wibta, if I didn't give my friend my cheat sheet for our final? Hi everyone, this is my first time using Reddit, so bear with me. I 15F have my final exams this week. For 2 of my classes my teacher is allowing everyone to have a one-sided cheat sheet to bring to our final exams. I spent about 5+ hours on each cheat sheet, which was super hard for me because I have such a hard time focusing. I have raging ADHD. I would usually use the cheat sheet my best friend 16F Lily, fake name, would make, and I would give her something in return. But this time Lily told me that I had to make my own, but if mine turned out bad she would give me hers or she would help me. I thought that was fair, and decided that I wanted to do this by myself. My other friend 15F Kenna, fake name, asked if she could use my cheat sheet for one of our exams. I told her that I didn't know because she's competent enough to make her own. I am giving my cheat sheet to my friend 16F Leah, fake name, because she has dyslexia and has a really hard time reading and studying. Our boss is also making her work 30 hours in the past week, so she didn't have time to. I'm also giving it to my older brother because he's in grade 12, and if he didn't have it he would probably fail. I talked to Lily today and she asked again if she could use it. I told her that I worked really hard on it and that I didn't really want to share it to someone who didn't need it. Then she said that she didn't even make one for that class. She did, she showed me, and she doesn't have time to study. I told her that her test was on Wednesday, so she had around 3 days to study, but then kept telling me that she didn't have time. I was just getting annoyed at this point, so I just hung up the phone. I've been thinking about this and how I feel about it. I know in his eyes I have been an asshole, but I don't really care. So what do y'all think I should do? Story 2. AITA for not paying the full price for a concert ticket? I, 16F, bought tickets to a concert with my ex-best friend, 15F. I'll call her Amy for this post. In the time between us buying the tickets and us actually going to the concert, we had a falling out. But when we were buying them, I had a conversation with her mother that they would cover my tickets, as my parents didn't want to since I am already going to so many concerts this year. She said it was fine since the concert was close to my birthday and they'd consider it a present since I'd done so much for her daughter. Fast forward to the day of the concert, where me and Amy aren't speaking to each other. A week earlier we had agreed to just go together since we were going in a big group anyway. She texts me asking me to pay the full price for the concert as if that conversation never happened. I tell my parents, who say that if I'm expected to pay full price, I can't go. She didn't answer my text message before I was expected to be at her house, so I went anyway since we had to work on a school project together. Again, super awkward. We meet up there and I tell her what happened, and that we're willing to pay half of the ticket since there was obviously a misunderstanding. I offered to go home since her mom seemed stressed out and I didn't want to add to that, but she said it was fine. She discussed it with her mom before we left, and her mom said Amy would be responsible for paying the other half. I felt really bad because I felt like it was my fault, so I offered to pay half of her half, about 30 euros, so that she only had to give 30 euros. We seemed to come to this resolution and we enjoyed the concert. She didn't send me a request to pay her and I haven't gotten around to it since it's exam season, but she sent me a text this evening asking me to pay it. I told her no, because we'd already reached the conclusion about how we split it. I forwarded her request to my dad, who has paid our half, and I'm going to pay her the half I promised as well, so we've paid everything we agreed to pay after the original agreement changed. Now she's saying that the conversation with her mom never happened and her mom agreed that she didn't remember either, and that I'm just trying to extort them. Apparently her parents are really angry at her and she doesn't agree with the way we decided to solve it a week ago. I feel really upset because I feel like I'm being taken advantage of, since now it seems she wants me to pay full price even though I said no. I feel really bad because she also had to pay for her own ticket, but I'm not sure. AITA? Update. People keep misunderstanding the post, so I'm going to clear it up quickly. We have paid the full amount that we agreed to after she asked me to go despite me not being able to pay the full price. My parents paid their half, I gave her my half of the half. She has all of the money, it's just the small amount she still has to pay, and she's pissed off. Story 3. AITA, BL didn't pay husband fully for guitar pedal, so I took it back. So BL 32 is a total freeloader, lives on MIL's driveway in a borrowed van. He's all the usual drinks, smokes, talks constantly about himself, sponges and generally makes everyone's life miserable. Husband, after years of his self-absorbed nonsense and a final blow-up earlier this year, is now non-contact. I stupidly remained cordial. Before the blow-up, BL spotted husband's pedal and said he had seen them for $500 on Marketplace. He offered to buy it. Husband agreed, stating he had to pay $50 a week. He made 6 payments, $300, and then stopped. The idea was that because it was in installments it was easier for him to get, cause he never has money, and would have it right away, rather than saving for one on Marketplace. Last payment was February, it's now end of June. Heard through the grapevine that he could no longer afford to pay, so stopped. Then they had the blow up, because he wanted my husband's drill to go around during a cyclone and help people, hero complex, and my husband said he needed it at our house in case anything got bad, plus my husband isn't stupid and doesn't fully trust him to not damage it, lose it, etc. Anyway, a few weeks ago he moved back to MILA due to house share lease being up or something, and I spotted the pedal by the door of her house. I asked my husband what the status of the payments were, $300 out of $500 paid. And I took it. I did then completely forget to mention it to BIL, but we have a young baby, and what with parenting and work and life in general, that is my bad. Last night at MIL she mentioned if my husband had seen it. He drew a blank and I fessed up. I saw BAL as we're leaving and told him direct that I have it. Anyway, woke up to messages asking for it back and saying he paid $300. I pushed back informing that was not the deal, pay the $200 and the pedal is yours. He responded with deal is off, money or pedal, and then continued to lose his mind, cursing me and telling me I am gouging money from him. Then had a distraught phone call from MIL asking me to please give it back and she will front the rest of the money. He's clearly popped off at her. I stressed to her that we are both adults, we will handle this as such, but she was desperate to fix it all. The principle for me is that I was there when he made the deal. By marriage I technically own half that pedal, and I'm kinda sick of everyone giving into BLBS and him getting away doing what he wants when he wants. I don't really care what he thinks of me, deal's a deal, but I am feeling awful that he's gone nuts at the MIL, and no doubt it's her money we are receiving, not his. I took the pedal without speaking to anyone, without asking for the payments first, and I caused MIL heaps of stress because BL took it all out on her, so AITA? Update, and yep, guess I am the arsehole, but we have refunded him the $300 and kept the pedal. It was never about the money. But yes, I will try to be less impulsive and in the future. Enjoying the videos? Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to enjoy more dank wizard Reddit content. Story 4. WIBTA for inserting myself and older kids in a trip my husband planned for himself and our youngest. My husband is from a small village in Eastern Europe. We have 3 kids, 7 years old twins, and a 3 years old. Our 3 years old has never been abroad to meet extended family. I have visited as a newlywed, with the twins at 6 MO, and again when the twins were 1.5. The twins have been a third time at 4 years old when my husband took them on his own. I was too pregnant. My husband said that the most recent trip as a solo parent was miserable. His family doesn't speak English, the twins don't speak their dad's native language. The twins were old enough to recognize this and they didn't respond well. They didn't want to try any food that was different. They didn't want to interact with or be alone with my in-laws, which I'm sure broke their heart. They were homesick for me, and there was probably some culture shock. They finally started warming up in the final days of the 2-week trip, but by then he was so exhausted of being primary caretaker and source of entertainment that he regretted the trip. My youngest was born later that year, and my MIL came to live with us for 6 MO to be his primary caretaker when I went back to work. She returned the next year and stayed for 2 MO. During her time here we get along fine, but only communicate the bare min via Google Translate. I know that she loves me, but I don't feel a strong bond. The same may be true for our twins. They're shy to put effort into interacting and it almost seemed rude at times. I did try to facilitate, but she seemed to want to avoid awkwardness and poured her attention into the baby. Another element is that she is a hardworking badass and the kids and I have lived a comfortable, first world life. When we visit them abroad, it is a ton of effort for my in-laws. My MIL cooks everything from scratch. They don't have a ton of convenient/easy options. She will not accept help in any form when I am there, but when she is here, she does everything. My husband wants to take the youngest to visit his family. I was originally okay with it, considering the expense, but now that it is becoming a reality I want to explore the twins and I joining. He isn't in favor. He has mentioned how hard it is to keep us entertained. It is also triple the cost, which is a lot of financial pressure for us. He says if he goes with the youngest, they would stay the full 2 weeks in his village, but if the twins and I join, he would only want to stay there 4 days, and instead explore some other Euro locations as a family. I want to foster a good relationship between the twins and their grandparents, and I don't think that excluding them from this trip, it will be easier, helps that. I don't want to burden his family or reduce the amount of cutie he is able to spend there by inserting ourselves. That said, I am not convinced the 3 years old is going to behave any better than the twins did when they were 4, and I think my being there might actually be helpful. Would I be the asshole for insisting that we turn this into a full family trip? Story 5. AITA. My daughter's mother makes a huge deal out of me taking her out to do stuff with my GF and her daughter. Hey everyone. So a little backstory. I was in a relationship with my daughter's mothers from late 2011 until April of 2023. We had our daughter in late 2012, she's 12 currently, and we've lived together since around that same time. We've both had a history with substance abuse of some kind. I had it with alcohol and she's had it with prescription pills, pain pills, and alcohol. I got a few DUIs about 6 or 7 years ago now, but I've completely stopped in the past few years, but she continues to have issues with abusing her prescriptions periodically. In 2023 I decided enough was enough and told her that I couldn't sit around anymore and watch her basically opt out of her own life whenever things got difficult. I met my, now, GF shortly after we stopped dating and I've been with her ever since. However, because of money and my ex losing her jobs every too often, we are still living together with our daughter. My current GF is the exact opposite of my ex. She's supportive of me, she listens to me and lets me vent whenever I need to, and she never expects me to be someone I'm not. She has been extremely understanding of my living situation, as she also lives and takes care of her mom and her 12-year-old daughter also. My ex, still living with me, is just now starting working again, but before that she's just been sitting around the house doing nothing all day and night, basically taking her anxiety meds so that she's awake and functional maybe 6 hours a day. Our entire relationship she never made plans or wanted us all to go out and do stuff together, and now that my GF and I want to take my daughter out and do stuff with her and her daughter, my ex always seems to bitch and make a scene, claiming, "You never took us out to do stuff when we were together," even though, 1, I did, and 2, whenever I wanted to she always had an excuse why she didn't want to. AITA for not wanting my daughter to waste a whole summer sitting around the house instead of going out having fun if I'm taking her out with my ex and her daughter. Story 6. AITA for getting frustrated with my 9-year-old niece. Hi all. Recently I, 33F, went to my mom's house for a barbecue. My sister, 39, also lives there with her partner, daughter, 9, and son, 1.5. We were eating under the carport, which is made of wood and has some carpenter bees. We live in harmony with them as they don't bother anyone. However, my niece swatted one down that was near her, and it landed on my nephew's play mat on the ground. The poor thing was squirming and so I stepped on it to take it out of its misery. My niece said to me, "Why would you do that on the play mat? You have no common sense. You should have moved it to the ground." I got pretty frustrated, and told her that was an extremely disrespectful thing to say to someone and I was simply trying to help the bee not be in pain anymore. I told her she needs to stop being so rude to people as this is definitely not the first time she's acted like this. She has called my mom names, broken a lot of my mom's things around the house, and has also been rude to me many times too. I didn't yell at her, but I was stern. My niece went back inside the house, and then shortly after came out with her dad. Some time passed, and I made a comment about the basketball game they were playing. She ignored me. I said, "So you're not talking to me now?" Her dad said, "Nope," in a way that made it clear he was not happy with me. I was really upset and started crying, but tried to hide it from everyone. After my mom passes away, they will be the only family I have. I feel so disrespected by them constantly and like I don't matter to them at all. A few days later, my mom disclosed that my sister did know I was crying. I'm kind of upset that she never brought it up to me or tried to talk about it. I think they're all just mad at me for being stern with my niece. I love my niece dearly. I try to be supportive of her and I want a good relationship with her. I want to be there for her and be someone she can rely on. It's just hard because I think she's being raised without consequences and hasn't had a chance to develop a lot of empathy/respect for others. AITA for trying to be the person that teaches her? Am I being selfish by trying to change the dynamic? Story 7. AITA for being concerned about the damage my son did to my car? I am a mother of 2, Vanessa, 25, and Brandon, 22. I am not married to their father, but they both have a relationship with him. They went to visit him this past weekend for Father's Day and were set to get to my house on Monday. Brandon drove the two of them there and was supposed to drive back. The car he drives was mine originally. I paid it off and did not ask him to buy it from me on the condition that he is responsible with it. He was only paying for gas and maintenance. This was the first car I have ever been able to pay for up front without taking out a loan, which carries sentimental value, so it is my car as far as I'm concerned. A few minutes after they left their dad's, I got a call from Vanessa saying that they had gotten into an accident. I asked if the car was damaged, and she told me it was totaled. I was immediately furious because Brandon knew how hard I worked for that car and I was very clear that I expected him to care for it. I asked Vanessa to please put her brother on the phone. Instead, their father came on and explained that they were in the emergency room and that our son was receiving treatment. My ex then started to berate me for being more concerned about the property than about the kids and for getting angry at our son without knowing the situation, but in my defense, I hadn't realized that he was injured. To be clear, Brandon will be fine and the other driver was completely unharmed, but they are all still furious with me. I had assumed that if his injuries were serious that it would have been the first thing they told me, but that isn't a good enough explanation for them. It's been a few days now and both kids are still with their father and won't come stay with me. AITA? Update. First of all, to be very clear, I do not care about the car more than I care about my children. It was a moment of heightened emotion and I spoke before thinking. I can concede that it was insensitive. To be clear again, my son has a concussion and a few broken ribs but will be fine. The car is unsalvageable, and yes, it is insured, but that will not replace the sentimental value, but it's fine. Now, I called my children to apologize and explain that I would not have asked about the car first had I known that they were in an ER. Vanessa admitted that she should have told me that first but that she was very stressed at the time. I was not able to get far into the conversation when their father came in with some choice words for me, and the call ended shortly after. I believe he may be manipulating the kids into not wanting to talk to me or come over, but they are adults and that is their prerogative. My plan is to let it play out.